Hi, Otmar. How are you?
Hello, Paulina. I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Hey, I'm very happy to be joining on this call with you today. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Paris in France.
Oh, the most romantic place in the world. This is
It
great.
is.
So I've been looking you up a little bit online, and I opened your LinkedIn profile first. And then I saw that you are a co-founder and CEO of DataHawk. And I immediately became very interested and intrigued because it seems such a complex topic of having some, data intelligence and process a lot of data and all of these things. So I just want
Correct.
to ask you, maybe for the people who are watching, to maybe share who you are and what is your specialty? Like, what's the thing that you are known for?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So basically what we do at DataHawk is that we focus on helping brands and retailers and as well as agencies as well thrive on Amazon by increasing their sales and margins. And the way that we try to help them do that is basically by helping them optimize their organic search performance. Because at the end of the day, on Amazon, your ultimate goal is to drive as much traffic as possible to your product listing page, right? That's how you make the sales. And the more you drive traffic organically, the less it costs you in terms of sales. And so that's actually what we focus on. We've noticed that there was a gap in the market and a real strong need to be able to monitor the performance of your products in terms of how they're performing organically in the search results, benchmark that to your competitors, try to understand what are the best practices, maybe crack correlations between what the impact of changing your title, your bullet points, your descriptions would have on your organic performance. Maybe the impact as well of your paid advertising efforts, right? We have a lot of customers that tell us, well, I want to know if I'm bidding on like a set of keywords or search queries and I'm driving paid sales from the search queries, what would be the impact on my organic performance? Well, all of those are questions that we try to tackle and solve with our software. And then on top of that, we also provide some data related to market intelligence, helping our users extract insights around competition and things like that.
So that part, the second part, is very interesting one where you're pulling out some market intelligence. So how does that actually work? Is that some sort of algorithm that you wrote? It's a proprietary algorithm that's getting the data from my neighboring listings, or is that some kind of third-party information that is just systemized to apply for me?
Yeah, so it's a technology that we've built internally that collects the data on behalf of our users and basically process it, and we display it on the web app on DataHawk's website, and then they're able to extract all those insights. And our customers are also able to export the data to Excel, which comes super helpful when you want to mix it with other data points that you may have internally so that you extract additional insights.
Let me see exactly. Maybe I'll find some screenshots on your website. So is there anything that I could look at visually how it looks like a little bit?
Yeah, so maybe you could go to demo.datahawk.co. There's a
There's
Q,
a
I think.
typo, right? Yeah. That's all the long nails. Typing always with the Q's. All right.
Right, so this is a demo project. You could pick, for instance, one category that you like, maybe the toys and games or something like that.
Okay. Oh, cool.
All right, and basically when you log in, this is what it looks like. You have a dashboard that shows you gives you a snapshot of your organic rank performance, and then maybe if you move on to the products page on the left section, it's the little tags. Yeah, those ones, right? So this is where sits the list of products you'd be tracking in your project. So as you can see in this example here, there are some products that belong to Lego, to Hasbro, a lot of different brands. And there's a lot of data points that the software surfaces around their performance. And then as you click on one of those, you get a lot of additional details, right? So here it's some...
Do you only start tracking from the point that I ask you to track them? That's how it works? right?
Yes, exactly. That's how it works. So when you create an account, you add a set of zines and keywords that you want to be monitoring, and then we'll start collecting their data on a moving forward basis.
So in general, because I personally have not been using trackers a lot, so could you tell me the benefits of why the seller would even want to use a tracker? Like how, just simple workflow of the day, how does it go? Like I go and check how my competitors are doing, or whether rather how I am doing? Like what's the need, and then what's the pain there that you're solving?
Yeah, good point. So there are maybe a lot of different use cases, and let me give you a few ones as an example. There's, for instance, the brand that would be having a vendor relationship with Amazon, and they'd be selling their stock to Amazon, but they wouldn't be having a lot of insights into their performance, right? Nor would they be having any insight around what Amazon may do in terms of how they may decide to drop the price of the product and things like that. And basically by using a tracker like DataHawk, they can get notified when there's a price drop on their product, or maybe even on a competing product, right? They can also monitor their bestseller rank, which at the end of the day is a good proxy to tell them how much they're selling as compared to before, maybe. So that can help them with procurement and inventory management, because if they run out of stock when Amazon sends them a purchase order, well, it's a bit not it's not cool. So it's something to master, and using a tracker can really be helpful with that. And then to take a second example, which is applicable to not only vendors but as well as sellers, most importantly, and agencies. As I was saying earlier, basically cracking and mastering your organic search performance is super important, because that's how you'd be driving traffic and hence sales to your listing. So I think it's really important to have an approach, a proactive approach that's data driven, and in which you try to really apply learnings towards improving your product listing and towards improving your campaigns, right? So the first step towards that, if you really want to understand if you're using the best title, if you're using the best description, the best bullet points, well, you need to actually be able to A/B test many changes, right? Until you get to a point in which you figure out that, well, the title you've picked is probably the most optimized title that helps you to rank organically well for a set of keywords for which you're targeting to be ranking top of the fold and the first pages of Amazon. And then the second component is with regards to helping you optimize your return on ad spend. Now, Paulina, let's imagine that you're selling leather bags as an example, right? And
Actually, I'm selling leather bags.
awesome. Cool.
All right.
I didn't have any idea about that, but
All right.
yeah. So imagine for your leather bags, basically, I'm sure you want to, if you're selling messenger bags or satchel, you want to be ranking for keywords such as leather messenger bag, leather satchel, and so on. And you may be bidding on those as well in the campaign manager on Seller Central. And my question to you is, probably you'd be better off if you're ranking already well organically for a set of search queries in, let's say, the first position, the second position. Why would you waste an additional ad spend bidding on those very same keywords, right? Paying $2 a click when you're already top of the fold and appearing in the first positions organically, right? That would be wasting your advertising budget. Instead, you may be better off redirecting this budget towards other search queries for which you may not be ranking well organically. And that may have maybe a high search volume, higher search intent, and so on. So that's typically one key use case that our users have when leveraging our keyword tracker. And then the last one is the one I mentioned around how you may be, how this may help you actually understand the correlations between your advertising efforts and your organic performance. There's one other cool things that we really notice, and like when you're monitoring your bestseller rank. When you have a lot of data points around your sales, and you can see on a day-to-day basis how that affects your bestseller rank, well, all of a sudden you have those super helpful insights in which you're able to crack correlations between your daily sales velocity and the effect it has on your bestseller rank. So as an example, maybe by selling 10 daily units of your leather messenger bag, you'd be ranking in position 50 or something like that in the messenger bags category. Now imagine if you had a lot of data points around when you sell 20 bags, how much that translates into a BSR, when you're selling just 2, etc. You can export all of this maybe to Excel, run some regression analysis and forecast, and all of a sudden you'd know what kind of sales velocity you'd need to be at a specific bestseller rank on Amazon. Maybe let's say the top 5 selling products or something like that, which at the end of the day, and as you're very much aware of, would help you rank even better and make even more sales, since there's this famous flywheel or momentum effect on Amazon where the more you sell, the better you rank, and the better you rank, the more you sell.
That's right. This is very cool. So, you mentioned a few options. So I'd like to look at one of them. Let's say the PPC one that you mentioned. How does it work in practice? Like, where do I go here now to check my PPC rankings on each keyword? And I would select one, like you said.
The page in which you are is a perfect one, the keyword tracker. Now, as you scroll down, you'd see how this product would be ranking for a set of keywords that are in the same project. So in this toys and games project, there's a set of keywords including robots for kids and Lego architecture. And you can see that, for instance, looking at robots for kids, it looks like on August the 20th, this product was ranking in page 4, position 162. And on the contrary, where for Lego architecture, it's currently ranking page 5, position 240, right? And basically, this is the kind of data you would be able to act on. Unfortunately, here, there's not an example of a keyword in which the product would be ranking maybe in position 1 or 2. But if that were the case, you may decide maybe not to bid on that keyword. And instead, here, you may be more interested in bidding on Lego architecture, which has a huge volume of monthly hits, right? 27,000, and maybe drive additional traffic to it.
So maybe some other one we could grab, and where I was there. And there's a little bit more here. Okay, so.
Okay, cool. So that's a great example. This one is consistently ranking in the top position for Lego City, for instance.
So wait, don't tell me. I'll try to figure it out. What should I do? Because it's, when you get a lot of data and new app, it's so hard to just get the benefit out of it quickly. I'm going to try to be the newbie here. Okay, so I go and I see that I'm tracking really well for this one. And you're saying it's probably not even worth bidding on that on PPC because I'm already there. So there will be an ad and then my first listing, right? Although here is definitely worth it on Lego architecture ones, right? Is that the plan?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly one of the examples I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. And look, there's one other interesting insight you can see here, Paulina. Look at how for the word Lego, between August the 13th and August the 14th, there's been a huge improvement in the rank, right? It went from page 3, position 113, to page 1, position 39. So what this means is that in all likelihood, maybe there's something that changed in the product performance which helped that improvement in the performance. As an example, it may be that this product has driven maybe additional sales that stem from customers typing search queries that include the word Lego. So it helped it rank better. Or maybe they've done a change in their title, description, or bullet points, or maybe even backend search terms, and it had a positive impact. Those are all possibilities.
How can it be page 1, position 40? Isn't there like 11 listings on it? Sometimes, no, actually there's more, right? On the first page?
Yeah, so there are a lot of different layouts that appear on Amazon search results. Usually the most common one would be around 25 or 28. But there are a few ones in which it's much more, actually. It really depends on the category. Sometimes it may depend even on when you type the search query.
Interesting. Okay, Play-Doh modeling compound, keyword tracker. Okay, so here, this one I'm not even ranking. Okay, so now the next question. here in the demo, all these keywords are already put in, but the way I would use it, I understand that I would have to put in my own keywords, right? And track whichever keywords I like. So how
Correct.
do I know what keywords to even look for or track? Like what do I do? How I get those keywords from where?
Yeah, good question. So the first thing is that I'm sure a lot of sellers and brands have a set of keywords, a really good old-fashioned Excel file with maybe thousands of keywords they want to optimize for. That may be the first data source. And then the second one is definitely the reports you have from Amazon's Campaign Manager. So those would include the customer search term report that has the set of keywords that customers actually type when searching for a search query in which you're bidding. And yeah, you can definitely use that and import it in here, and it's one of helpful source as well. Additionally, if you scroll back to the top, and if you went to the keyword lookup tab, right, so here we have a little feature that basically surfaces keywords that you may not have thought of, but for which we've detected that the product is ranking. As an example, entertainment collectibles, it seems like we detected that this product has been ranking between position 2 and 12 for this search query over the past 3 months with an average position of 7. For Play-Doh,
that's what I was kind of looking for. This is very helpful. You know, you can just click track it and it's gonna start tracking whatever. So
exactly.
This is what I'm already ranking for, right? And you are actually even tracking it for me without me asking for it, right?
The ones that are grayed out are keywords that you haven't added to your project. The one in green, like modeling compound, you've already added it. You can see that toy at the bottom as well.
So this ranking is actually my ranking. You already kind of look it up for me in advance, right?
Yes, and that's basically based on our user base. The more users we have at DataHawk, the more we're able to collect data. So basically, we probably have some users that have added keywords such as Play-Doh or entertainment collectibles. So that has allowed us to have all this myriad of information. And so we're able to additionally help you with that.
Oh, very cool. All right. What else is cool?
Now, if you went to the keyword generator,
okay,
we'd be taking a different approach here. Here, basically what we do is that we run a semantic analysis of the product listing, and we try to come up with suggestions of keywords that may be relevant to it. So here as an example, we're coming up with kids activity table, activity board, activity books for kids. We tell you each.
I'm sorry, what is semantic analysis? What does it mean, semantic? You said semantic? What's that mean?
Yeah, so basically without focusing too much on the wording, the idea is that we analyze the words that appear on the product listing, on its title, description, bullet points, and we use a lot of different data sources to try to maybe run an algorithm and see what are the keywords that may be the most relevant to it, right? And we tap on a lot of different data sources. We leverage what Amazon suggests on the search bar. We leverage suggestions that you may get on the Google Keyword Planner, for instance, a lot of different data sources and our own internal algorithms to come up with suggestions. So some of them may be relevant, some may be less. In any ways, our users are able to export the list to Excel, further filter it down, and keep only the ones that make the most sense.
Wow, there's cost per click. How do you get that? So that's the price of the PPC?
Yes, that's estimated CPC that you'd be paying to rank well for that search query.
How do you estimate that? I mean, it's your secret sauce, but like, how do you get it?
No, so far we simply fetch it from Google. We think it's a good proxy. Now that 54% of search queries occur on Amazon for products and the rest on Google, we think it's still a good proxy when comparing different keywords.
Okay, so cost per click is not Amazon PPC cost. Is
no, it's
Google.
not Amazon.
Okay, but
yeah.
Still it's a nice indicator, you know, actually. There has been one question.
Yeah, maybe one.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Most importantly, you know, when I have a bunch of keywords, when I look at them, some of them have the buyer intent and some of them don't have a buyer intent. for example, Shopify store, really nothing is there to buy. It's more like researching about it. So what would you suggest, like how to approach this? I know maybe your app doesn't even do something like that, but how to find those buyer intent keywords quicker than going through thousands of keywords? What would
That's a good point. So if you went to the keyword section, it's the little A on the left navigation menu. So this is where sits the list of keywords that should be adding manually to your project, right? And maybe one thing that's helpful, it doesn't specifically answer your question, but there's one thing that's super important, Paulina, that we notice on Amazon, and it's the extent to which the algorithm, the results are really algorithmically driven. What I mean by that, and a good example that I like to always give, remaining on the leather goods space, if you're selling a leather messenger bag that's priced above $200, well, right now in Amazon.com, there's zero chance for you to rank in the first page or even the second page for the search query leather messenger bag, and even the search query messenger bag. So when the reason behind that is simply the fact that the competition and the available products catalog is so competitive and constructed in such a way that the pricing is low, to the extent that basically Amazon's algorithm would never decide to put your $200 messenger bag in the first page for the search queries. And that's a super interesting insight, because all of a sudden, you know that even though you have a set of search queries that may be high intent, just algorithmically speaking, pricing wise, or maybe even depending on your reviews, you wouldn't be able to rank on the top positions for them until you reach certain criteria. And this is something that we do on DataHawk. We run an analysis on search queries or keywords. We run a market analysis on them, and we tell you, well, if you want to rank on page 1 for the search query leather messenger bag, you should know that the highest price product is at $89, that the median price is at $42, the average is maybe $35, and on an average basis, products that are on page 1, they have maybe 200 reviews. So all of a sudden, you can come up with some sort of a difficulty score that you can tie to each keyword to understand the extent to which it's hard or not to rank for a specific keyword. And then you can also match the relevancy of your product to a specific search query, which is super helpful. Now, with that being said, I appreciate that this doesn't truly answer your question around trying to gauge the actual search intent of a search query, but that's a really good idea, and I'll float it to the team and see what we could do on that front.
Okay, cool. You briefly mentioned pricing. That is interesting. I'm sort of calling myself a pricing expert, not really the pricing overall, but more like pricing strategies for Amazon. And you said that there is a page somewhere in your app that does show how much the price is for that, the price for that. Can I look at that view and see?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you went back to, all right, you can pick one keyword here as an example. Maybe pick board games, right?
Okay.
And all right, cool. So as you do that, well, first of all, here on this list, you can see the actual products that are ranking organically for the search query. There's Jenga classic game in the second position, Hasbro Connect in the third one, and so on. You can get some insights around a few of those in terms of their number of reviews, price, rating, etc. We try to even gauge the degree to which we deem a product or keyword to be competitive. So, for instance, you can see that the Jenga classic game, we gave it an A+ score. We think it's a super competitive product. And so if you scroll to the top and went to market analysis, all right, and scroll to the bottom a little bit. Cool, just right there. No, a bit up, bit up.
Oh, the main.
Yeah, this one, by page.
Okay.
So here you can see that on page 1, the highest priced product for this keyword or search query is at $61, right? And on a median basis, the price is $17. Also, you can see how it's super tough to probably rank for this search query in terms of the amount of number of reviews you'd need to be there. For instance, on a median basis, products that are on this on page one for this search query have 736 reviews. That's huge. So if you assume you need to get to that 700 reviews to have a good odds of ranking there, and if you assume that 1% of your sales translate into a review, then you know that you need to make 73,000 sales before getting there. So it's a really huge figure.
There's
Right?
some crazy differences. The minimum price is like $3.57, but the highest $61. Like, who's selling for $3 here? The guy with no reviews, obviously, with low rating. You know.
Good question. You can go back to the other list and actually see that. But what's interesting is that if you change the page here, if you picked maybe page 2 or page 3, you can see that it gets easier, right? So the number of reviews gets lower, the price gets higher. So it means that if you have a higher price product, you can maybe rank in page 2 rather than page 1, etc.
I think that was a pretty competitive option that I picked.
Yes, it was one of the most competitive ones.
Like, I'm just gonna lose it now. I'm not so sure. So let's say it was building blocks. What about that? Maybe it's also quite competitive then. Let's see. Okay, so what's here? So the minimum price, yeah, okay, because there are so many different products that could be for that query.
Yeah, and you can see that visually if you scroll down to the metrics, price versus position metrics that you see, you can notice how it seems like there's a strong concentration of products between $20 and maybe $35. It looks like those are the ones that are most likely to be close to 0 or 1 on the y-axis, meaning
wait a minute,
they're ranking.
not so quick to understand, you know, wait a minute. Okay, so there, you mean here, like in this area, it's more like a concentration and the price says 20 to 30. So I can kind of see that outliers are in the range of 60 and the cheap guys are here, but most of the people are selling like in between $15 and $34.
Right, exactly. And then the other interesting insight is the y-axis, the axis you have on the left is the position axis. So the closer you are into 0 or 1, the better your performance would be in terms of how you're ranking organically. And if you see, there's a concentration of products between $20 and $35. It seems like those are the ones that have the best ranking, right? They're really close to 0 or 1
they're
the
most at
y-axis.
the bottom here. Okay, but still there are so many more which are not ranking and have good prices, right? So it's
and this is where the number of views also comes to play. In the bottom right side of the screen, you can see the metrics of number of views versus position. And again, it seems like the ones that have more than 200 reviews are the ones that are most likely to be close to 0 or 1 on the position axis.
Interesting. But there are some outliers. Oh, you even tell me which guy is that. That's awesome. So I can see which exact guy is so lucky to have almost no reviews and be in position 20. And then I can go check him out, what he's doing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, this is cool. All right. Well, when I looked at this page, you know, I'm looking at this and I thought, okay, I'll just ignore that for the rest of my life. You know, but actually, if I'm going to hover on these guys who are doing so well with having so little reviews, you know, I could spot some interesting options for me to go and try and imitate. This is great. Cool. So yeah, this is very nice, and I'm sure we can talk for hours and hours more about that. But let me do a little bit of a experiment, and sorry if that's gonna come up with something bad, but before I convert, I always check on the social proof. Let's see what you got. So post it in groups. Let's see if anyone in the groups ever mentioned you guys. I need some criticism.
All right.
I opened something, I understand something. Okay, it's the only thing last year, and there is nothing about DataHawk in his thing. I guess somebody has mentioned about DataHawk in here. Maybe, yeah, looks like it's nothing bad. There you go, some hawkers. Is that you guys?
No, no, those are this is a sunglass company.
Okay.
But it seems like this thread is talking about Shopify
Yeah.
specifically.
So it's totally unrelated. Okay, so nothing in my groups that I am a part of has you guys, like, let's look for that. Let's look for DataHawk.co being mentioned just to double check, and then let's check the posts in the groups. And again, I only get that. Okay, so that means there is no bad, nobody's saying anything bad, right? Oh, there we go. So now it's all right. So similar to Helium 10, I heard DataHawk is good. Recommendations, please. Now the painful moment comes. I said, you are DataHawk. What is that? You can call me Dragon, my friend. All right. So I guess people are talking about you. Look at that. So
They're not talking that much. They're making fun of the name. Apparently, they like the hawk.
can you give us some advice? How do I know how aggressive PPC do I need to be on the first page? Interesting question. That's kind of what we talked about. And then probably somebody mentioned DataHawk, right? That I use DataHawk to watch the listings on the front page. Then you can calculate exactly what did it take to get here. Sometimes that's reality and other times it's not. That's true with any data. Oh, this is cool. So, oh my God, you have a lot of nice, interesting mentions, and seems like Helium 10 is being compared to you guys, and they're huge. So I immediately have a lot of respect for you that you are being compared to them. And actually, you seem to provide so much more data points than them. So now my next question: what's the pricing look like? Is that very expensive and overpriced or not?
No, actually, pricing wise, well, it really depends. We do have a freemium plan that people can use free of charge, and then the pricing starts as low as 19 a month, right? And basically, the main driver behind that is the amount of products and keywords you'd be tracking. So the higher the amount, the higher the price. Usually, most of our users go with the growth plan. That's at 99 a month. But the smaller sellers and brands, they can be just fine with the 19 a month or 49 a month.
Because I see they get the Excel export, and that may be very useful if you have a lot of products and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does the free user get? Does he get all this cool stuff that I was looking at, like the to see which price is ranked the best, or not?
Yeah, most of the things that we've seen, as you can see here on the checkboxes, they're included. And however, it's limited to 5 products and 5 keywords, which is actually can be fine if you're tracking a couple of products and a specific niche. But then again, 19 a month still remains an approachable pricing, and that's basically our vision. It's trying to help as many sellers enter the space and maybe cement their position, grow a bit, and so on.
I see.
Although our core focus.
Focus is what?
Yeah, although our core focus is actually the professional sellers that I would say are doing maybe north of 500,000 annually on Amazon in terms of volume of sales. The reason behind that is that this is the threshold at which you actually start to have a strong business and maybe able to invest on products and software to help you grow even further.
Okay, so I was thinking there's 2 cases I would start using it and sort of testing it out with the first 2 plans. Is either I just launched something new and I want to see how it's doing and see it growing slowly, passing the sandbox, what happens and so on. And or with my best sellers, which I really want to keep a close eye on, like to make sure I don't drop out of those rankings, especially after a long time of out of stock when I bring it back, some bestseller. So I guess these are my most interesting cases when I would personally use it. And I understand that for big sellers, it totally makes sense, and they can even automate a little bit with the API and stuff. Yeah, this is very much more than I have expected, to be honest. This is great. And you seem to be super smart for creating that. So did you come up with every single idea yourself? What's in the app?
Well, it's a team effort as well as there's a lot of insight that we receive from our users and customers, and that's definitely super helpful. So they always come up with those really impressive ideas around things they need for their business. And that's really helpful to us because it really helps us drive our product roadmap towards the right direction.
All right, great. So tell me something personal about you as an entrepreneur. What's
Sure.
your mindset about, like, how have you evolved through time? Like, where did you start as? Did you start, and how did you evolve to the point that you're at?
Yeah, so I actually used to work in the venture capital industry. I used to work for a really smart entrepreneur that had a lot of success and started investing in other startups. And we actually, when I used to work there, we were investing in a lot of direct to consumer goods brands and companies that sell mattresses, that sell underwear, that sell clothing and so on online, direct to consumer. And that really gave me maybe a sense of the importance of data, especially in the B2C and the direct to consumer world, as well as the increasing importance of marketplaces, where 60% of B2C e-commerce for physical goods occurs on marketplaces now. And at some point, I just wanted to switch to the other side of the table. I was a bit tired of meeting super smart and successful people, and I wanted to give it a shot. And so that's when I met my two co-founders who are super smart and who encouraged me to start on this journey. And so we launched DataHawk back in late 2017, actually. And one of the things that helped us towards that was the fact that I have actually this very small leather goods brand as well.
Leather bags.
Which, yeah, exactly, leather bags. And at some point, I had my small Shopify store, and I was struggling with customer acquisition costs and so on. And so at some point, I started selling on Amazon. That was back in mid-2016. And I saw that there was really a gap in the market with regards to a powerful all-in-one software that can help you run all those kind of analysis that I mentioned to you. The very first one that I was facing back then was actually improving organic search performance. And so that's how we basically decided to go in this direction.
Great. And you guys are doing good. Looks like a big office from where you're sitting. Well, that's how I remember when I worked at EA Games or IBM in my old times when I was developer. There was always some glass door there and some big conference rooms. And you seem like you are in one of those.
Yeah, actually, it's a nice place. There are a lot of startups in this place. It's a huge building. And we're growing. We've actually just recently raised institutional funding and are hiring people, developers, marketers to try to accelerate a bit more and execute on our roadmap and vision.
That's cool. That means that you will have so many more features coming up and everything will be streamlined and no bugs and all of these things. That's cool.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope to continue on the path of building a really helpful search engine optimization product and market intelligence product. And yeah, that's the plan.
I'm excited. I'd love to work with you guys for like a month just for experience. It seems like an awesome app and an awesome team. And I just totally love numbers and everything about, market intelligence.
We should do that. Switch offices for a month.
Yeah, you should. I don't know how about my office, but yours is awesome. Looks awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much for meeting with me today. And I'll reach out to you again sometime if you don't mind. Yeah, to talk
Sure.
a little bit more about the different things in your app.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Paulina.
All right, thanks.